Welcome to Women Being Loved, a weekly podcast and upcoming book series to help you and other women 35 and beyond attract deep, passionate, lasting love while honoring your authentic self. I'm Tadra, your host. Today's topic, you're one decision away from love. Welcome to season 2. I have missed you, but I got so much closer to finishing my book of real love stories and planning out the marketing in the month that I was away. But I am happy to be back with you. If this is your first time here, I am so glad that you joined me today. Please subscribe so you don't miss any episodes. Also, please hang out to the end of today's episode because I have some fun things going on that I would like to tell you about. I want to talk to you today about how you could be one personal decision or one happenstance away from finding love. Have you ever seen Sliding Doors? It's a 1998 film with Gwyneth Paltrow, and she's playing a character named Helen. So Helen has two very different parallel love stories that play out on screen based on whether she catches or misses her evening train. So in one scenario, she makes the train, she gets home only to find her man in bed with his ex-girlfriend. So naturally, she breaks up with him on the spot, moves in with her friend Anne, I believe. And then Helen meets this really great guy who she ends up falling in love with, who treats her really wonderfully. The movie does a complete rewind and takes us back to the beginning and then starts to show us an alternative timeline. So in the second scenario, Helen misses the train, so she doesn't make it home in time to catch her boyfriend cheating. And as a subsequent, she stays with him. Both decisions have this domino effect in her life that grows bigger and bigger as the plot builds until we get to the climax. I won't give any spoilers, I promise, just in case you haven't seen it or you plan on renting it. If you have not seen Sliding Doors, there are a lot of other films that play with the idea of how small events, happenstances, and personal choices lead to love, lost love, or even delayed love, such as in Serendipity and When Harry Met Sally. So a quick synopsis of Serendipity that has John Cusack and Kate Beckinsale, and I think it's from 2001. In Serendipity, two strangers are falling in love, or at least falling for each other. I don't think we could call it love that soon, but it's Christmas time, of course. Best time of year for a rom-com, right? So this couple split up a pair of gloves between them, and they both got into separate elevators in the Waldorf Astoria in New York City, with each of them having a glove. The idea was if they found each other on the same floor of the hotel, they were meant to be together. Spoiler, they did not find each other in the hotel. In When Harry Met Sally, which I hope needs no introduction as it is the greatest rom-com of all times, they made a lot of life choices that led them together and then apart and then together again. As you can probably tell, I'm kind of old school when it comes to rom-coms. I think the 80s and 90s rom-coms were so well done. So, why am I talking about fictitious love stories? Well, because I write scripts. So I spend a lot of time dissecting my favorite films. And for today's purposes, also because art imitates life. Now, art can, of course, be bigger and grander, with the main characters being able to leap through time and space and tall buildings with a single bound. But at the heart of the stories are messages about real life. They may not, and usually are not, blueprints for how you should live, but they're shining a spotlight on some element of life, and they're starting discussions about what if. What these films that I'm talking about are expressing is that the decisions outside of us like, say, missing a train, as well as the decisions that we make on purpose, like believing that true love can be decided by a pair of gloves. All of it can change our situations in a heartbeat. Now, do we need movies to tell us that? I mean, I think we all know this, right? But most times we fear how things can change in a moment. So we put a lot of emphasis on how things can shift in a really bad way at any moment. So we have phrases in English like waiting for the other shoe to drop, expecting the shit to hit the fan. Things are going to blow up in my face. How often have you said, I'm so excited that everything's going to fall into place today? Maybe you're someone who does that. Maybe your propensity is towards positivity and good expectations. I myself tend to be a glass half full type of person, but I still struggle with expecting the worst once in a while. Our society, news, politics, entertainment, they're all steeped in negativity. We have to actively search for uplifting, inspiring content, even when it comes to things that really should easily lend themselves to happy and uplifting, like being in love. How many people have you seen online just ranting about how awful dating is? If you are single right now and you're dating and things haven't been stellar, you haven't met the person you've been longing for. On the contrary, you've met some people you really didn't need to meet. And you're feeling like you've wasted time and energy, and you're kind of feeling like, what's the use? And maybe, just maybe, you've started to succumb to defeat and thoughts like, all the good ones are gone. Men are trash. I'd rather have the bear. You are so entitled to your feelings. I am never going to try to talk you out of how you genuinely feel. But there is always a but, right? I'd like to offer an alternative thought for a moment. How you perceive any situation determines the actions you take going forward. How you perceive your current dating life also creates a domino effect, as it did in all of the movies that I mentioned earlier. Lately, I've been hearing a lot of women, especially my beautiful wizened midlife sisters, saying they're done. It's over. They're never dating again. First off, I want to hug you if you're in that spot right now. I'm so serious. Although I am married, I have been in a space where I gave up. I just gave up the idea that I would ever find the kind of love that I longed for. So I get it. But also, I'm here to say that the slightest shift in your beliefs can make a world of difference. If you've been meeting me here on the podcast since season 1, hey girl, hey, you know that I am writing a book that's a collection of women's real life love stories. I spent hours upon hours on the phone at the end of last year, just interviewing women about their present love relationships, which these women, in their own words, dubbed the best relationships of their lives. But I also asked them about their past relationships, their struggles, the lessons they've learned, the therapy they've gone to, families of origin stuff, and just so much. And something that came up a lot was how love came to them as the result of a new decision. So sometimes that decision was to just relax. Just relax into singleness and stop creating a narrative of pain and suffering around single life. Because single life can be nice. They chose to focus on themselves in ways that brought them joy. Or maybe the new decision was to get out of their comfort zone by taking a class or trying a new fitness activity. And that one decision, coupled with an open mind and an open spirit, surprisingly, not really, brought the person they hadn't been able to find before. One woman named Monique, and I know, you've probably heard me mention her so many times before because her story's in the book and it's one of my favorite ones. She expanded her dating radius by 4 miles and she met her fiance who fit everything she had on her vision board. Now, if you're like, what are you talking about? Dating radius. In major cities, a lot of times women will say, I'm willing to drive to this neighborhood for a date, but no further. Especially as if they're doing like online dating, you kind of pick a map, I guess, or an area that fits for you. But some women have found that the areas they've picked have been a little too rigid and they've needed to expand, which is a great metaphor right there. They've needed to expand their territory. Other women told me they joined hiking meetups, rowing teams, rock climbing clubs, cycling get-togethers. These were all brand new experiences for each of them, and they met their significant others in the process, and they're happily married now. So what I'm saying to you right now is maybe instead of giving up on love, you might want to take a break. Right? Just take a break from actively dating, searching for the one, and just enjoy life. But don't close yourself down because love can find you when you least expect it. One of my friends, her name is Nancy, she was at the Whole Foods at the customer counter when a man walked up to her, told her he had seen her from across the aisle and that he thought that she was pretty. They started a casual conversation. They ended up exchanging numbers. They went on some very creative dates. One of them included an aerial trapeze dance. Another one involved leveling a tree with a chainsaw. These people were not playing. They were creative. And now these two are happily married. Nancy was 48 when she met her husband, just to clarify that these were not two people in their 20s or even early 30s. But what you don't know is the backstory. Nancy was in Whole Foods because she left her wallet there like an hour before when she was grocery shopping. So now she was waiting at the customer service to find out if like anyone had decided to be a good Samaritan and turn in her wallet, or the alternative, she was going to have to hop on her phone, cancel all of her cards, get a brand new driver's license, all the hassle. So she could have rightfully been in a nasty funk when her future husband walked up to her. She really could have allowed her frustration and anxiety to color this moment that became such an important shift in her life. What did I say earlier? One decision away from love. And her decision was to be nice. Now, Nancy could not control if her wallet was returned or not. It was, by the way. Thank goodness. Just like Helen in Sliding Doors, she didn't control that the train was early, if the train was late. But what we do with what is in our control, which is our outlook, our openness, our energy, those things can have life-shifting possibilities. So, a quick synopsis of what we covered today. Rom-coms from the 80s and 90s reign supreme. Do not argue with me. It is pointless. Stay away from negative people online. Take a break from dating if you feel the need to, but still stay open and positive because love can find you at any moment, even in Whole Foods. I hope this episode gave you something to think about. I hope it was encouraging. If I may, I would like to take just 2 more minutes and share with you a way that you can enjoy some really fun perks and support this podcast, as well as my efforts to get this indie published book out into the wild. Oh, girl, it's thousands of dollars to publish and market a book up to professional standards. We don't want something out there that looks undone. But I had no idea it was going to be that expensive. So I've been doing everything that I can myself, like designing the book cover, using organic marketing as much as possible. And my honey bunny, my husband, created a fundraising site that I went in and filled with some really fun gifts that I would love you to check out. Support can start with a one-time gift of just $7. So that'll give you a public shout out, a thank you, a I love you, I appreciate you, girl, right here on the podcast and on Facebook. If you happen to be over there as well, feel free to send me a friend request. There are other perks like an invite to a private $1 book sale before the official public launch. Signed copies of the book, an invitation to a private online launch party. So I'll be opening the boxes of books and like sharing them with you for the first time. So you'll get to see them when I see them. And you can get a sneak peek at the 2 book cover choices on the fundraiser site. And you can send me your vote. Like, which one do you think I should use? So you can check all of this out at womenbeingloved.com. If you didn't catch that, it's in the show notes. I am rooting for you. I know love will find you. I'm looking forward to spending time with you next week when I will be talking about the 3 traits of lasting love. Don't miss it. Have a blessed week.